Hello, dear viewers, and welcome back to another episode of This Week in Canada. Before we get started on this extremely exciting episode, I want to remind you guys to go down below, press subscribe, and give this video a like already. Subscribing is super important. You make sure you can tune in to everything we do on this channel and just give us a like. It's good for the algorithm. It helps YouTube love us. But back by popular demand is the man himself, the king of the sauces, Angelo Isiduro from Cancel This, and now from This Week in Canada, This Week Again. So, Angelo, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me. I'm back. They love me. The people love me. And, yeah, I have nothing better to do. So here I am.
Yeah, you didn't change the sign that back there. It still says Cancel This. But, that's just promotion for your show.
Exactly. It's promotion. It's not laziness. It's not that I forgot that sign exists. It was intentional.
Yeah, good, because this is This Week in Canada, so we're going to talk about some Canadian stuff. And it's been another pretty wild week in Canada. Again, there's a really sad story in the news that we're just going to not talk about. Obviously, it's the saddest thing that's ever happened, and it's a little too sad for the show. So we're going to talk about something a little bit lighter, still a little serious, and that is this whole deal with the statues. Angelo, do you remember last summer when they tore down a bunch of statues?
Yes, I recall. I think it was Sir John A. Macdonald being decapitated. Was that right?
Yeah, that happened in Montreal, pretty close to where I am. Yeah. But guess what? It's summer again, and just as
it's riot season.
It's riot season. April showers, May flowers, June, July, August, just buildings on fire, and statues being torn down. And this week, we had a big controversy. Depends who you ask. It wasn't huge, but it was big enough to make national headlines about a guy named Egerton Ryerson. And he is the namesake of Ryerson University in, I believe, Toronto. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Toronto. And they ended up tearing him down, I believe taking off his head maybe again, graffitiing him after placing about 215 pairs of shoes at his foot at the base of the statue, because this was in response to the Kamloops school where they discovered 215 bodies, and Egerton Ryerson was apparently one of the grand architects of the residential school system, which led to, now they're calling themselves X University instead of Ryerson University. I think the journalism school's gone ahead and done that. What do you think of this, Angelo? It's another bad time to be a statue.
It's a really bad time to be a statue. And this is a weird hill for us to die on here as people who oppose cancel culture, because, I mean, I come from an immigrant family. I think you come from an immigrant family. You certainly look like you do. Yeah. And it's weird for me because this is some dead white guy that probably had some views that we today find reprehensible. But, beyond the point of why did this statue exist in the first place, maybe this person did contribute something great to Canada. The point is, a mob tore down this statue. They decapitated it. They did their whole, flag waving. We did it. We defeated racism. We tore down the statue. The precedent it sets is really worrisome, because the president of the school has now said that they're not going to replace the statue.
Right.
Which, of course, means that if you don't like something or I don't like something, they have a statue of Mother Teresa, I can go tear it down and decapitate it, and that now is a proper means of getting my way.
Right.
Right? This is the precedent we're rewarding, and we're emboldening people who want to use violence as a means to an end. So, yeah, it's very concerning to the point of what did these people believe, whether it's Sir John A. Macdonald or Ryerson. I know more about Macdonald than I do about Ryerson, admittedly. I'm grossly uneducated. But I know Ryerson contributed to the modern schooling system in Canada, and he apparently was one of the architects of the residential schools. Did he deserve to have a statue to begin with? I don't know, but I just think the whole thing's messed up.
Yeah, that's a pretty good point that you're making there, because as you said, I don't know who this guy is. Maybe that's just my lack of historical knowledge of Canada. It brings to mind a pretty interesting point made by J.J. McCullough, who I think we both are familiar with, YouTube Canadian pundit for Washington Post. He said, the debate around statues in Canada is much different than the one in the U.S. because no one actually knows who these people are, which now leads to a bunch of people making a weird faux culture war of people they just learned existed 5 minutes ago and having to take a hardline stance on it. John A. Macdonald I found pretty interesting because he founded the country. In my mind, I think that should give you at least a little bit of, good faith in the public's eye. I mean, if you founded the country.
You should get a statue. If you found a country, you get a statue. I mean, Sir John A. Macdonald did a few things that are actually remarkable. I'm getting a lot of this information from Aaron Gunn. And I know he's a massive Sir John A. Macdonald fanboy. But I trust him enough to believe this is true, that he did want to extend voting rights to women. He was essentially a progressive at that point in time. It's just what was considered progressive then is very different from now. So you have to take everything into context. Yeah. Nonetheless, Macdonald was the founder of the country. He gets a statue.
Yeah, right.
Ryerson, I don't know. Maybe Ryerson doesn't deserve a statue. But the point is, there are ways of getting that statue taken down, if that's what society wants, that are outside of throwing rope around it and tearing it down and peeing on it and decapitating it.
This is going to bring up a pretty obvious point. I mean, there is a statue of Pierre Trudeau in Vaughan, Ontario. They started a petition to get it removed. Obviously, that's not going to get really that far. They're not going to take down the Pierre Trudeau statue unless it were to get like an insane amount of signatures. But this begs the question now. Pierre Trudeau was one of the later prime ministers to open new residential schools. Make sure we fact check that one. We could put it on the screen. But he oversaw them and definitely didn't close many. He has a statue. So if a mob, let's say of just people, people that didn't like Pierre Trudeau, gathered around and pulled down the statue, is anyone there going to face criminal charges? Is anyone there, in the wrong? Are they going to replace the statue? I don't know. It seems like this rule is going to get tested further and further until we tear down all iconography in Canada, until we hit the limit, which I don't know what the limit is, but it's a kind of a spooky way to go about things. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, Pierre's not going anywhere.
No.
The reason why Pierre statues aren't coming down is because he's a liberal. That's all it is. The whole thing with cancel culture that conservatives, I don't want to say all conservatives, but many conservative politicians, let's say, still don't understand that it's a game. It's not equal, right? I mean, you have a prime minister that wore blackface. If a conservative did that, it would be calamity.
Yeah.
So Pierre Trudeau may have oversaw residential schools, but he has an L in front of his, name. He's a liberal. So nothing's going to happen. That's just the way it is.
Maybe that's just the way it is. That could be it. I mean, it definitely seems like there's way more conservatives than liberals getting torn down. I don't know if any Wilfrid Laurier statues have been torn down yet.
No.
Makes
you
you think.
So.
That one last statue I want to mention to touch on that J.J. McCullough point is so groups are calling for the removal of Alexander Wood statue in the Toronto Village area. I have no opinion on this. I don't know if I should be, because I'm a conservative, I should be upset that they're tearing down a statue. They're saying that he was homophobic. I mean, everyone was homophobic. I'm homophobic. No, I'm not homophobic, but everyone was homophobic like 100 years ago. So I don't really know. Like, should I really care about this guy's statue? Why don't we put a cooler new statue there? I don't know if anyone even knows who this is. So I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
No, I think for Alexander Wood, don't know who he is. But let's probably keep Wood standing. Tall.
Let's keep
tall and firm.
Tall and firm Wood is what we're calling for. Anyway, should we move to the next topic there on that note?
Absolutely.
Great, because it's a fun one. Thank you for that beautiful transition. Man, Angelo, if you're here long enough, maybe you'll get your own transition.
Maybe. Fingers crossed.
James is too lazy to do that. But anyway, let's talk about our next fun point of conversation, which is about the Deputy Prime Minister. Again, Chrystia Freeland, the one from last week. I remember we talked about her having a bit of mask theater caught on camera. If you guys didn't check that out, make sure you go check out last week's episode. Angelo killed it on that one. He's killing it again this one. But anyway, Chrystia Freeland, she's at the G7 with her old pal Justin Trudeau. And you know, at these events, you're on your feet all day. You're wearing your cute heels. You're, 5'1" and like 200 pounds or whatever. She looks very dense, and you got to take off your shoes. So let's pull up the photo of Chrystia Freeland shoeless at the convention center of the G7, which is like where the most powerful people in the world meet. Walking around shoeless. I don't know. Seems kind of unprofessional to me. But the other thing that she did was another incident of mask theatrics caught on camera once again when her and a bunch of, I believe, kind of the people that her counterparts, I believe, at the G7, they're standing on stairs, they're taking photos, and then halfway through the photo session, she goes, "Oh, wait, I have to put on my mask." Make sure this is the one that we put in the press release. Angelo, I know last week we had basically the same conversation, but what do you think of that?
Can I just say something?
Yeah, sure.
This is why I'm here. That last segment, talking about statues and all that, that's all fine. But when I got the call that we're going to talk about Freeland's feet, I said I'm in. So that's why I'm here. What do I think? I think she needs to take her mask off and she needs to put her shoes on.
Boom! Sauce King.
That's a headline I stole, but
okay.
I think, this has been an ongoing thing with Freeland. If I'm not mistaken, she's always been gross. And I believe she clipped her toenails in the middle of the parliament.
I think you're right. I think that's her.
During a session. She's always sort of seen things as being overly informal. And of course you can't criticize her because the moment you do, you get a gaggle of feminist journalists saying that it's sexist to say she should wear shoes, which I think is actually demeaning to women. Lowering the standard. But anyways, they're saying that you shouldn't comment on a woman's attire. It's like, so what if she was wearing a clown outfit at the G7 summit? You're not allowed to comment on a woman's attire. She's the deputy prime minister.
Yeah,
she is
pretty high
an
office.
Extremely powerful human being.
Yeah.
And this has been a thing with her. Do heels hurt? I'm told they do. I've never worn heels, but she could wear flats.
That's my whole takeaway. That's basically my whole
point. Or just wear
point.
shoes. I honestly don't care about high heels. She could just wear normal shoes for all I care. I don't think men care about high heels like they used to.
Well, it's not
like
she's not really wearing
someone
like
important.
Sorry to cut you off, Angelo, but it's not like she's wearing like 6-inch stilettos or anything crazy. You'd imagine she'd just wear I don't know what these are called. Maybe they're like kind of blocks. You know what I mean? Like their shoes.
Pumps. I think those are pumps.
Are those pumps?
I don't know, man. This is like
this
I'm
is
riffing. I could be wrong about everything, but basically the point is she doesn't have to wear high heels. She can wear flats, and if she is going to choose to wear high heels, and you're going to meet with people who have access to nuclear weapons, maybe keep them on.
maybe just keep them on. Okay, well, sorry about that. If there was any audio issues, I'm sure you guys will let us know in the comments. But thank you for joining us on another episode of This Week in Canada. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give this video a like, subscribe, and go down to the links below. Please like our Facebook page. It's probably the most important thing you can do for the show is like the Facebook page or buy some merch, leave a donation for us, and check out any of the premium content we also have in the links. Angelo, did you enjoy yourself again this week?
I did. I enjoyed myself. Anytime we talk about, irreverence, like Chrystia Freeland's feet, I'm all about it.
You heard it here first. We got a foot reporter in the form of Angelo Isidoro, who said to call us anytime there's a foot topic. So that's loads of fun. Thank you once again for joining us. Have a good week, and we'll see you next time.